Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mindclash Podcast, episode 56, Vegas Hype. I'm excited.
Hi.
We have an air horn bot, and we just don't know how to use it. Anyways, we are joined by some of the amazing pilots who will be joining us at Vegas to have a great fucking drunk. It's not even a weekend; it's like a whole week. Dirk, you're there for like 3 weeks, aren't you?
I'm not. I'm only there from Wednesday. I think I'm coming in on Air Force One on the Trump Express and leaving Monday.
Is that a United Airlines flight?
Well, it is a United Airlines flight. Yeah, it was a joke that Trump is also coming in that day.
Oh God. All right, let's go through some intros. Dirk, you already started there, but
hey, what's up? It's Dirk McGurk, member of Sniggeredly in Pandemic Legion and co-host of the Open Com Show.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Kyle Parthos. I'm the executor of a small wormhole alliance called Rejection of Sovereignty. A few of them are tuned in right now.
Shout out to Stuffs, who's been storming up our Discord.
He never stops. He really never stops.
Mike Azariah is grabbing pizza, literally, so he'll be back. Morgan?
Hi, I'm Morgan Starkiller. I am a line member of Mortis Angels and DJ on EveRadio.com on Wednesdays from 1600 1900 GMT. Hi.
Beautiful. We might have some other players who will be attending Vegas joining us. Kind of bouncing around in the wings. I know it's a busy week, short week for some of us, but let's get into the Eve news. Personally, the Warzone extraction event wrapped up tomorrow with the patch overnight, or the turn off overnight. The boosters that you receive from that event are available till the 24th, so if you have them stashed up or you want to buy some off market, you can get the bonus for the training till the 24th. Maybe any of you guys do any of those sites?
You want to know how many I've done?
Yes.
How many?
0 of them.
Less. I saw one appear in our wormhole at one point.
I've seen plenty of them, but I didn't actually play any Eve until this Saturday morning, so it's been about 2 weeks, and then I've just been moving my capitals up from the south to the north.
I haven't done them basically because I was too afraid to, because I heard it was really difficult. And scratch that. I tried to do one, but I had no idea what I was supposed to do. Like, I approached everything, and I'm like, oh, that didn't. I approached stuff, and I don't know exactly what I was supposed to do.
They weren't too bad. You had to bump the Rex, and then the rats spawn, and then you cleared the rats.
Yeah, I just thought I had to approach a wreck. I didn't think I had to bump into all the wrecks.
Bless up.
Plus, there was a second Excel gate, so that didn't help.
That was just a gate to bring you back to the beginning. I was surprised, based on my report from last week, where I was pretty happy with the way the event was going, that they actually changed a bunch of the content within the site. They moved all of the wrecks from the sleepers' ships that you were killing, from large, medium, small, representative of their ship size, all to mediums. So they made all the wrecks mediums. I don't know if to change the loot table, change the salvage table. I don't know what they did, but it definitely reduced the amount of loot and boosters and sleeper loot that you were getting out of those sites. So that was disappointing, but I still enjoyed finishing up those last sites. I cleared them both on both of my characters, and my alt's taking advantage of that extra training time. I think the boosters went down to about 110 million. Do you guys think that's a good thing compared to the sites and the events that had boosters at every site and crashed the price down to like 10 mil per booster?
That's still a lot.
Trying to think of how to phrase it exactly. I mean, were these boosters particularly different from the drone? What was the name of the drone event that happened over the summer? I'm struggling to remember the name of it. that had the Rogue Drone Cerebral Accelerators.
Drone Swarm.
Rogue Drone
Or
Swarm.
something like that.
Price on those crashed almost immediately, as I recall, because they were dropping in almost every site. So were these radically different in performance from those?
Nope, same attributes, 10 to all stats.
How long do they last for?
One-
Only because you mentioned they're expiring as of the 24th.
So it's 1 day base and then boosted with your biology skill up to 2 days. Same like all the other boosters from the previous events, but the October 24th is the limited extent of the boosters. They will no longer work after that.
I suppose I don't really see any reason for them to be that much more expensive, but I guess in a case like this, if it's just an item that's being temporarily added into the game, the market availability determines the price, as it were.
Well, I've heard rumors around these events that if you are over 80 million SP, then a booster from one of these events is equivalently worth 200 million ISK if you were to get it out of a large booster, like a large skill point booster.
I would have to actually run the numbers on that. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. I'd have to open up spreadsheets and angrily whip out the calculator for that one.
Anyways, I thought
Oh god.
I found it. I fixed it.
Oh
Yay.
my god. Oh, it's an air horn bot. Okay.
you gotta find the deep truck one.
I'm on it.
Or maybe not. It was kind of spooky.
That was spookily loud. So
God.
Where's that coming from?
okay,
Disable the air horn.
still too loud. Yeah, Naramana in chat saying that over biology 5, 50 or 80 million SP boosters are better if you're under 60 million or so. So, I mean, SP is the best. I mean, CCP has made it known that SP is one of the best motivators for players.
It is, and frankly, contrary to I don't necessarily know that contrary to popular opinion, but a lot of people have said that SP trading is sort of like a cancer killing you. I actually really enjoy it. It's a very unique economy. It's an interesting selling point, I suppose I would say.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I think it's good for players who are joining the game and really want to dedicate to getting deep into all of the ships that you can fly within EVE. And I mean, you can just keep speccing into all different types of gameplay, and unless you're willing to go full Iron Bank and pull in every SP on every skill, which is completely pointless.
Fat lot of good at did him. Which seemed like a real waste of injectors from my point of view, but that's just me.
It's totally a waste, but I mean, if you want to catch up, I'm glad that vehicle is available.
That is, yeah, 100% agreed there. There's quite a few guys in my alliance over the last year or so who have possessed and then relapsed from skill injector addictions. It helps pilots, especially ones who are willing to put in the angry ratting hours to make money. It helps them experiment with different playstyles without having to wait 6 months to fly a ship only to realize, oh wait, I don't actually enjoy flying this ship.
For
Because
sure.
of sunk cost fallacies with respect to time are far more frustrating than those with respect to ISK, I find.
Yeah, like I find that the ISK just kind of sits there and it doesn't really accumulate. But if you're going to give some ISK to a new player, yeah, they're going to make them useful. You know, buy some ships. They're going to lose them. They're going to try to invest in something.
That's why I give ships, not ISK. ISK is a dumb thing to give a new player.
For sure. But if you give them SP, they're that much better of a pilot.
Depends on what you invested in. I've seen some pilots who turned around and invested that SP in truly fascinating things. I think what was case I heard recently, a person in my alliance actually has explosive armor compensation to level 5, but doesn't have a Mar Battleship 1. Pretty fascinating, honestly.
I
don't know what he's doing.
Thing is, if you give them something like SP, you also should give a lesson in what they would best be to apply it to. Like, don't just hand somebody something and say, there you go, do your best. You say, and here's a good training plan. If you're going to fly with us, here's what you should be bloody using it for.
Yeah, that's fair. But at the same time, I find that handing someone SP and then handing them, the user's manual of documentation on how precisely to allocate it, depending on the kind of person you're looking at, can be almost more of a turnoff than anything else, because they're like, oh man, this gift is coming with a string attached of having to read an entire manual documenting how to fly everything. It's like, I don't know, I think there's a fine line between telling them how to progress and just giving them some vague guidelines of, no, this is useless, this is kind of useful, just letting them experiment a little bit.
Oh, maybe tell them how to spend half of the SP and the other half go for what they want.
Yeah, that seems pretty wise.
We are joined by Tridget. His mic is still off, so maybe he doesn't realize he's been pulled.
Hello, hello.
Here's a man who'll tell you how to spend your SP. Introduce yourself.
Hey, everybody. I'm Tridget, Executor of Iron Armada, hailing from Fountain. We're talking about SP for who? Young pilots or older pilots?
Younger pilots at the moment.
Honestly, the first thing I would tell someone to do if they were fresh out of the gates, ready into the game, is something that they find fun. So, like, get into a frigate and get some tackle gear and get some guns and go and pew. Or if they want to make a little bit of money and that kind of stuff, put some basic stuff into, like, whatever it is they would do, like a PI or whatever.
I would recommend no one going to PI. It's the worst.
Well,
hey, it's not that bad.
The interface is pretty much the worst, but the output of PI is pretty fucking bomb these days.
Yeah, I usually make about $1 billion a month off of just robotics.
Just a question of whether or not you can handle the agonizing headache of setting it up with the UI.
Oh, dude, I just do it every morning. I'll set up, once it's all set up, every 3 days I'll just reset everything and call it good. About once a week I'll just move all the stuff around where it needs to go.
I haven't been able to handle looking at PI since the SMA days, honestly. I still have PI set up on the old planets up in Fade, but never touching that again, honestly. It's too much for me.
It's really, it always has been the setup. I mean, the setup is the only place that I would sit there and say, this is really what you need to work on, because I think more people would actually kind of get involved with it and can use it as one of those money-making sources for, whatever it is they're doing, especially on some of those, kind of alt characters that they're using for other things. They can turn them into PI characters, but
that is very true. There's
the day-to-day of it's not horrible, because number one, you can put it on yourself as to, like, how much effort do you want to put into the day-to-day.
You're 100% right, Dirk. All of the complaints that I get about PI and, oh my god, Tridget, why are you telling me to do this, blah, 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 it's always the setup. Someone, I think it was actually you, Meredith, but someone within the Iron Org suggested that maybe as an improvement to PI, there would be some way to save a default fit. So you could be like, I want this planet to be a factory planet. Boom. And it would automatically do the thing down. You just place them and then hit go. And then
God, that would be wonderful.
Right? It's not like a fucking one building down, connect to this one, another building down, connect it here, route it here, etc. If it was just like a schematic, just bang, and it goes, that would be so much easier.
It would be, and it wouldn't give me flashbacks from weeks wasted on Minecraft.
Thank you, Namahana, for the subscribe.
Oh, hey, it's a Nama. He's coming to Vegas too, actually.
Hey, he's not.
I mean, all my planets were always basically identical setups. I had identically set up factory planets. I had identically set up extraction planets. It was just like, this is how it's always done. This is how many pixels apart every item is. Every structure is kind of on that planet, and it's like, why can't I just save this setup and click insert?
I'll probably give credit to Jarius Doctor. That's probably his idea. He loves PI.
It would be pretty wonderful, I got to admit.
All right. The other thing I heard from Opus Magnum, friend of the show, he stopped by and informed me that the Eve Onion is starting their own website.
So excited for that.
Oh God, is that back?
Oh, it's always been around via the Twitter. You might have seen it on there.
Didn't they used to have a site something like a year and a half ago? Can't remember if they went off the air. I feel like I remember a site though.
I believe it was a different person, but he has resurrected it, if I understand.
As long as there's satire, I'm happy.
Oh, it's satire for days.
So the eveonion.com is the website. It's going to be going live Friday. They have a Twitch or an Eve TV ad on the Twitch stream for Vegas. And they are going to be satire, parody, and fiction. And it's open source content. So if you want to contribute the same way you could to any of the other...
So just like INN.
Correct. You can contribute satire, parody stuff, and get paid.
New goal for me has to be to contribute something that's satirical but almost resembles something that actually happened.
I'm sure there's no content up there.
What is this content?
I don't
Hey,
know.
so, what are you guys drinking this evening?
Protein shake right now.
With vodka?
Not because I gotta get up in a couple hours to go to Vegas.
Did you know that beer mixed with ice cream is actually quite delicious little protein shake?
Does beer actually have any protein in it?
Oh, the ice cream has protein, duh.
Oh yeah, I guess that's a fair point.
I
I doubt it's as healthy, but
I have an Indian
I
sister.
didn't say healthy.
How's ice cream not healthy?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
you're right.
Dairy products are good for you.
I mean, it doesn't stop me from eating ice cream, so.
I have an India session Belgian ale. I've been apparently prepping myself all weekend. I've been doing a lot of drinking.
Just having a Guinness Extra Stout at the moment.
See, now a Guinness, it would be an excellent one with some vanilla ice cream. I know this for a fact.
Yeah, Guinness Extra Stout goes wonderful with vanilla bean ice cream, as does amaretto, for that matter.
Actually, I believe that. I'm a big fan of Guinness.
Yeah, but right now I'm actually drinking one of my homemade Hefeweizens mixed with a little Coca-Cola.
Homemade, you say?
Yes, I'm a brewer, as they say.
Ooh, that's interesting. I've actually been thinking about getting into that myself one of these days once I own property instead of renting.
I could teach you, but I'd have to charge because my beer milkshakes brings all the players to the yard.
I saw that coming.
Saw that coming from a mile away.
Hey, Kyle, are you reading Twitch chat?
I'm not. Stuff's is trying to get me to, but I don't know how to say this politely, but I have 3 monitors on my desktop, but not a single one of them has enough time for Stuffs on it.
I don't blame you.
I'll talk to you about that later, since I have no idea what's
Stuffs on it. Stubbs is a fascinating man. He's actually one of the fine gentlemen from Rejection of Sovereignty who's going to be sharing with us a suite come a few days from now.
Is that a good thing?
Depends on how you look at it. He's pledged to roam the McCarran International Airport with a sign saying "Stuff's lost, Stuff's angry," till he finds us. He is a truly fascinating creature.
I like the photo somebody actually had far from puking as a sign picking him up today.
Wow.
It is weird to a certain extent that we live by our character names, you know, rather than, like, I know maybe a few people's real names, but for the most part, we are who we labeled ourselves when we entered the game.
I think that's way easier than trying to learn everybody's real name.
See, I solved
For
that
the
problem
record,
quite handily.
my real name is Mike.
Yeah, I was about to say I solved that problem quite handily. My real name is Kyle. It's like so much easier.
Well, I go by Morgan in real life, but it's kind of hard, you know, when you go by a different name that you instead of your real name.
I think it was Dirk who yelled Azariah across the strip one time and actually got me to turn around and answer.
Exactly.
Wow.
Well, I figured nobody else should actually turn around with that. If I yelled Mike,
Well, to be fair, I might turn around if some fucking guy was yelling gibberish.
Actually, 2 years ago at Eve Vegas, had a dude wearing some weird stripper version of a Steve Irwin outfit and rainbow-colored go-go boots turn around and start screaming the name Kyle at the top of his lungs. No idea to this day if he was screaming about me or not, but I turn around, the dude just gyrating his hips angrily towards a group of people protesting gay marriage. Truly fascinating sight.
Wow.
Did your dad wonder why this guy was calling your name out?
Nah, because he met him at the wedding.
No idea what that guy was doing there.
I mean, we've beaten around this bush a little bit, but I'll link this one kill that I saw today. This noble pilot, recently of Reddit fame, when he lost his KDs to some NPCs,
Oh, I saw that.
decided to move his KDs in his Naglfar,
Wait.
but
That wow.
but didn't get all the way to his destination.
I can tell.
That's oh my god.
And for those who are on the podcast, this is a Naglfar loss totaling 129 billion ISK, as the KDs is ranked at 120. And for its lucky killers, pilots from Purple Helmeted Warriors and Mercenary Coalition, they were rewarded with the loot fairy drop of the KDs.
The KDs
Oh,
dropped.
those lucky bastards.
Oh my god.
I don't even. Do KDs even exist anymore?
They are an AT ship.
Oh my god.
So, not very many.
Not
There were never
very
many. What year was the KDs from? I honestly can't remember. It wasn't just this year's, was it?
No.
No, it wasn't. This year's Apprentice, and that would be in a Mars ship, so.
Yeah. I can barely remember what the AT from this year was. I kind of blocked it out after we fed hilariously in the first round.
Yeah.
Anyways, it was the loss there, but good times.
That's incredible.
I had a chuckle when I saw that earlier today.
Quite amusing.
Which one of them picked it up?
I hope
The
somebody
one
picked it up.
everybody else was chasing.
I hope so. But how would you be able. I mean, how big. This is going to be a weird question, but it's like how you couldn't pick up the actual, remember. Never mind. Forgot what I was going to say.
Keys
Sure, the
is
guy
last.
scooped it to his fleet hangar or to his ship maintenance bay.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That or hell, I'd eject and get into the bloody thing.
How?
Yeah, I probably would as well. I mean, hell, you can have my tread. I'm going out in the cavies. Bye.
Yeah.
Well, doesn't it have to be, fit? Or, assembled?
It was
It
fit
is,
and
but-
assembled.
It was
Oh,
assembled
awesome.
and fitted.
Yeah, this was an actual fitted KDs that dropped.
It was in the fleet hangar of the ship.
Ew.
Fit's not too shabby either. Not nearly as expensive as the ship itself, but
Yeah.
That was on top of the Keepstar that dropped out of a Sharon earlier this week as
Or
well.
that avatar with the fucking large rigs, the legacy one. Well, this one's way worse, I'm gonna say.
Well, the Keepstar that was killed, it was a Mercenary Coalition Keepstar in a Sharon in Syndicate, killed by Initiative. But Initiative shot the wreck because, yeah.
Well, they could put a hauler there in time, so it makes sense. And plus, it secures a fucking 300 bill kill mail.
oh my god.
I guess they weren't going to bring a full-size freighter in to pick it up.
Well, the thing is when something like that happens, everybody's rage pinging, and it's like, who gets there first? So they just secured the kill instead of trying to salvage it and maybe losing it.
They could have had a second kill mail.
True. But the local was flooding, etc., etc. But hilariously, after that happened, TC's unanchoring Keepstar and J5A stopped unanchoring. I guess they didn't want to make the same mistake.
I mean, who does? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice,
Right?
Yeah, Nama was going to mention what I did. It was a Satoyo bash by test drop to hell. They couldn't eject it from the wreck, and CCP wouldn't, deal with it, and it died. It rotted and died in the cargo in the wreck.
Weird. Like they couldn't pull it out and assemble it?
Yeah, because it was in Iraq and no one could actually put it into their hull because it's a supercarrier.
Is it packaged hell?
It was packaged.
Yeah, it was packaged. It was fucking weird.
Is
I
it
used to
not
imagine a. Sorry, good.
Or hold on. Well, Stuffs is saying it wasn't delivered, but I think it was because it was packaged. You can't assemble out of a container, right? So
Can you assemble it if you had a mobile depot?
I don't believe so. I
think
think you would have needed to actually bring.
something big enough to be able to carry it. I forget what the size of that is.
I don't think any ship in the game can carry a packaged super.
Yeah,
No.
I was gonna say.
At that point, you've got a large blob of ships orbiting a Satoyo wreck.
Yeah.
All of them just kind of going, guys, what do we do? Do we bring a POS? Do we anchor a POS here? And
Yeah, a hell is hella big. I mean, it's
Yeah.
Nama's saying that it was 1.3 million cubic.
yeah, nothing, obviously. What?
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
now. I think what they've said is, yeah, you know what? There's something there not right, but not to where they were going to deal with it right then. But I think they are considering how to deal with that in the future. But
Now, what do you do to deal with that, though? That's the real question. You can't make the Hell Rex, or not the Hell, you can't make the packaged Hell smaller, because then you could haul it into HiSec.
Well, you just can't assemble or undock it in HiSec, right?
I mean, I guess, does anybody actually have a HiSec Keepstar? I don't think they do.
No.
There's
Oh,
a
no,
HiSec
you
switch
can't.
device somewhere.
you can't build a Keepstar in HiSec. I don't think.
All right. Well, I mean, good kills all around this week. But we all came here because we're all hopping on flights this week. We're all getting down to go to where it's warm, dry,
Yeah.
and I don't know, moist if wettened. I don't know. But yeah, Eve Vegas starts this week.
So much hype.
I'm fairly sure some people started already.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm flying there in like a couple hours or so. Or heading
Lucky you.
there at least.
I don't know when I arrive. I know I'm flying out Friday morning.
That's not very much time.
Yeah, I know, but I have a job.
That's true.
I've got it definitely listed here as October 6th to 8th, but it's definitely plus or minus 2 days.
Yeah.
More than that for some. I think Judge gets in on Tuesday. Some
I get
CCP
it
are
on
already there.
Tuesday.
I think there's some other people. I mean, I've seen some other stuff. Obviously this thing has gone on out there today, or a little less than 24 hours ago at this point. With the shooting that took place out there, and there are some. Number one, there's some E players that just live in Vegas, but then there are also some other ones that are already out there, and then there'll be ones that get in tomorrow or get in. Well, tomorrow's Tuesday. Yeah, I know there's people getting in Tuesday, and then I know a bunch roll in on Wednesday.
And it's not saying anything against people who show up on time, but if you do plan on going to a future E-Vegas, go early and be a tourist. Like before all the geeks descend, go out to the Hoover Dam or the Grand Canyon. All of those are within a day's drive. Rent a car. That's what we did, my wife and I, when we went a couple of years ago. We were tourists for 2 days, and then she put up with me disappearing off into the geekdom.
Yeah, a whole group of us did that back in Vegas 2015. Arrived, I think it was a Tuesday night, Wednesday morning kind of deal. Rented a couple of cars, drove out to the Hoover Dam. Just generally had a nice little life before the party started. It's really worth it if you can spare the time.
Yeah, I mean, my first Vegas was 2014. Went out on Friday, and then vowed, the next year. It's like, if you're going to take the time to fly out there, from wherever it is you're coming from or whatever. I mean, obviously there's more to Vegas than just Vegas, so why not? And so the next year we flew out on Wednesday, and on Thursday we did the helicopter tour of Hoover Dam and the Grand Canyon, just to save that kind of commute time out to the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, I made the mistake first year of going on Friday, and I missed the keynote. That's how friggin' screwed up my schedule was.
Well, last year I went out on Wednesday as well, and the goal was to go and we were going to go do the zip line thing down Fremont Street on Thursday. And it's just kind of the way that eVegas has evolved. The prior year on Wednesday, there were a handful of people there on Wednesday. A few people hanging out at the bar on Wednesday night. But pretty much, people got to bed, I think, reasonably early. They had probably come in that day, so they had the flight, being tired from the flight and that kind of stuff. Last year had plans to go do something on Thursday, and there were so many people there on Wednesday. There were probably, 40, 50 people at the bar that night. So it just ended up being not doing that the next day.
Yeah, things have tended to snowball. I imagine that almost a couple hundred people will be in by Wednesday night. If most people are probably getting in by Thursday.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously real life gets in the way. I mean, if you can't get the vacation time or whatever the thing is, then, it is what it is. But again, Vegas is a good, kind of destination location for checking out some of these other things that you might not otherwise have the opportunity to check out.
I retire at the end of this year, so after that, it will be a destination vacation.
Yep. For a lot of people, it's like newsflash. There's a whole bunch of mountains around Vegas. If you are in the slightest bit outdoorsy, it is incredibly worth your time.
I mean, before we dive any deeper, I do want to spend an extra second here talking about the tragedy this week. There is a CCP response to it. As expected, people are devastated by the fact that it's happened. It's terrible. The loss of life is unforgivable. This should never happen to anyone. But there is a little bit of hubbub on Reddit and Twitter about people being sober or not trying to get into the event the way they probably fully should. Life happens, and this stuff happens all over the world. There was a terrorist attack pretty close to me earlier this week as well. I mean, this stuff is occurring all over the world. Lots of people are going through tough times. But I mean, you owe it to yourself to go and have a good time. And I mean, if you want to give back in some way, you feel like this is your place to give back. NoSov is holding a blood harvest where they are donating blood. There are lots of places in Vegas that are accepting blood donations for everyone but Europeans for some random reason. So if you want to give back to the community, you want to give back to the people who've been injured, which is a lot of people from this shooting, do so there. But then go and have a great time at eVegas. Don't let it hold you back.
As a mild caveat there for a second, specifically type O negative blood at the moment is in shortage. If you're interested in donating blood or desire to do so in any way, the NoSov Discord has been sort of organizing. Myself and Rallick and a number of other people have been trying to propagate information about where you can go to donate blood, the information you need from the Red Cross to do so. Again, if you're type O negative, please strongly consider it. But at the same time, do it in the morning, rest up, hydrate, eat a good meal. Don't do it right before you go out drinking, for the love of God. It is
not after the drinking. Don't do it after the drinking.
Yes, don't do it any time near alcohol consumption. Do it in the morning and then rest up for a while first. Please, thank yourself.
Does anybody have rights to be able to create invite link off of Rejection of Sovereignty? Because I do not, and I was trying to figure out if I could share that.
I do. I'm the executor of the Alliance. I'll PM you in 1 second.
That would be wonderful.
I mean, CCP is looking into potentially organizing something, event oriented for kind of a blood donation drive. I mean, there is something with how long ago it was since the last time you drank, how long ago it was since the last time you got a tattoo. I mean, there are other things that limit your ability to be able to to donate. So I don't know how all of that will work out if people get hammered the night before and then.
Yeah, I definitely can't, because I've been to Afghanistan within the past year, so I'm out.
I don't remember the exact Red Cross guidelines. I know that we've been propagating it both on Discord and on Reddit, what the guidelines are, but the general bit of advice is that you should donate first before you do any partying, and then rest up for a while, get a nice big meal and a bunch of hydration, and then start the partying, rather than start drinking and then donate after any length of time. So, Kayla,
which means I'm going to need them to snag me at the airport. I mean, it's just the way it's going to be. I know how it's going to be, and to go back to that kind of thing, because I have seen some comments out there about oh well, this is going to be somber or that. It's like, look, I think you can probably be in both places at the same time, meaning that you can be upset about what's happened out there and that sort of thing, but also remember that this is an event meant to celebrate EVE Online and meet up with Space Bros and that sort of thing. And yes, while this happened to happen in Vegas and it happened to happen last night, and the nerves will continue to be raw. I don't think that people should necessarily feel as though they need to enter into EVE Vegas. I don't know, somehow being so somber over it that it takes away from the moment that they have spent money on going to and the reasons that they are going to it. But I can tell you right now, the rest of Vegas, the rest of tourist Vegas, which is what the place is designed to do, is they will remember it, they will know it's there, but they still want all those people that are coming there to enjoy the city for what it's there for.
If anything, they're going to party harder to forget that it happened, if we're being completely honest. And I don't think that's unfair either. I'll wax philosophical for a second. Life itself is a scary and complicated thing, and a lot of dark things happen in it. We do a lot of things, adopt a lot of hobbies, do a lot of recreation to forget that we are going to die. We don't necessarily have to somber ourselves for the entire weekend and dwell on the fact that mortality is coming. We're human beings. It's understandable to dwell, but if you want to live a fulfilling life, you can't, perpetuate.
Instead of bringing the missus this time, I'm bringing one of my daughters. By the way, back off. Yes, she's in her 20s. Back off, geeks.
Good
But
Lord.
she actually said, well, we're going, that doesn't matter, Dad. No matter where you go, there's death, which is kind of a dark way, but that's my daughter for you. And it's true. Yeah, something big and bad happened there, but me, I plan on having a good time and doing what I planned to do before last night happened. But I am going to be somber, and I know the little paranoid corner of my brain is going to be looking for points of cover for the evening, because that's just how I work.
It's dark, but it's also honest, and approaching life with an honest slant doesn't hurt anybody.
Well, I would make this recommendation, and that is feel however you want to, I guess, about what happened and all of that stuff. I would probably steer clear of conversations regarding what you think about gun control and what you think about this, that, and the other thing that airs on the political side of shit, because those are the types of things that just get disagreements happening and make for a very odd time.
Disagreement is a mild phrase. You can start talking about that all you want. Just expect the angry, screaming arguments to begin within less than 5 minutes. It will happen. If you're fine with an angry, screaming argument, go for it. But maybe consider not doing that.
Yeah,
Never ends well.
and try to keep
The best political response I've seen was from the Clark County clerk, who started a GoFundMe for the victims and tossed $10,000 of his own money in right away. And that one I've linked in Twitter, and it is, as far as I'm concerned, the only way a politician should be responding, not talking about laws that need to be passed in the future, or I told you so. Just help the victims.
Yeah, like our rules on the show, I would just stay out of those political conversations. People have their points of views, and you can disagree about those in private, but I mean, I'm sitting at the bar to talk about spaceships.
Okay, I'm veering away from politics. I apologize for going in that direction.
I disagree with that.
We can all. I think we're all adults here. Everyone can stand to be civil. That's the sort of the mindset I take.
Yeah, and that's totally the mindset of these events, right?
Yeah, a group of grown-ass men can definitely stand to be civil and respectful with each other. Grown-ass men and women. You get the idea.
Don't assume my gender, Kyle.
So, what are you looking to hear from in Vegas once we're there? Like, what are you looking forward to aside from the drinking?
Going to say the copious volumes of alcohol definitely ranks number one on the list.
Yeah, that's why I kind of eliminated that off the top. Are you expecting any new news to be rolling out?
I'm not expecting it, and that is only because I feel as though let's see here, from the last EVE Vegas to this most recent Fan Fest, that they have not they've chosen not to use it as a forum for kind of new stuff that then gets talked about there, as opposed to releasing information about things that can then be talked about after you've had the chance to process that information before actually arriving. However, I think that because it has been missed twice, with any form of what I'll call future hope, that I'm really hoping that during the let me look at the freaking schedule when they do CCP Presents. So basically on Friday, right? You start off with the Welcome to eVegas, which is they'll get up there and be like, "Hey, welcome to eVegas" for an hour. Maybe some skits or shit. Then they do the EVE Online keynote where they're going to address EVE kind of as we know it. But then they get into CCP Presents, which has the possibility of allowing them to kind of hopefully not make promises they can't keep for 3 years, but potentially lead us a bit beyond the current roadmap, that there is something else out there beyond structures.
Yeah, but at the same time,
I'm disappointed
actually...
Andy isn't showing up, but she has a really good excuse.
Yeah, they still haven't said who's going to kind of be the keynote main presenter. Usually they split it up, because within the keynote there's different sections, so they bring out people who are kind of intimately related to those.
Maybe CCP Ghost could do that.
I don't know, what injuries has he sustained lately?
Any? Didn't hear about any.
Well, it just seems that every time Ghost talks, it has, let me show you the x-rays.
Bless.
So I'm curious what CCP Presents is. It's listed as a new feature for Vegas, a presentation that focuses a little bit more on what's been happening in the world of CCP over the course of the last year, and maybe some cool surprises.
Part of that's going to be they're probably going to talk about
Spark.
Valkyrie, Valkyrie in the recent, Warzone, release. They will talk about Spark, and hopefully, because CCP Presents is not, I don't believe it's new. I believe that was a section at least for FanFest, FanFest back, where they talked about future vision.
Well, it used to be. It used to be the Eve Valkyrie keynote, or after the regular Eve keynote.
I think that was last. I think that may have been last year. Yeah.
And then it was.
I'm looking forward to it just the same. But then I'll admit readily, I'm a fanboy.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I always struggle with speculation about these sorts of things for two reasons. One, it's inherently unpredictable as far as I'm concerned as to what exactly is going to happen. But two, I think most people they're hyped for the presentations, but if their only interest was the presentation, they would just stay at home and watch it on the teleprompter, or not the teleprompter, what the hell is the phrase? The stream. I don't know how I got teleprompter out of that. So I think most people, while being fascinated about, what is CCP going to do next to the Absolute Madmen, they're primarily there to enjoy the company, as it were.
Yeah,
I
and that was
agree,
actually something I was. Oh, good.
I was just going to say I agree with that, which is why I actually asked, aside from the alcohol, because I'm looking forward to meeting up with people again and sitting down and having beers and drinks with people rather than yelling at them through a microphone.
Absolutely.
Like the best part of Eve FanFest, Eve Vegas get-togethers is just sitting with people who play the same damn game you do, or an entirely different game, but it happens to be called Eve as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, and that's why I was going to ask when for those of you that are here in the channel right now, right? What is it you go to Eve Vegas for? Because when I went my first year, I went to a whole lot of the different sessions and that kind of thing. And what I've seen is that as time has gone on with Eve Vegas's for me, I'm there to see other people, and the Eve thing is kind of a background.
As kind of similar to how I feel. The first year I went to Eve Vegas was Vegas 2015, and it was myself and 12 other people from SMA sharing a villa together. But as time went on, the more friends one makes in Eve, the more one goes to Eve Vegas specifically to visit and catch up with those friends, especially when they're scattered across multiple continents, so you don't really get to see them on the regular.
100%. That is already, like, I've never gone to Vegas yet. This will be my first one. I didn't get an opportunity to last year. But the opportunity to go and finally have a common place to meet like a whole bunch of people you know in game, whether they're in your alliance or they're, you know, old friends or, you know, even enemies and that kind of stuff. I think that is the most priceless aspect of the whole situation.
Okay, now I have a request, and this is a Lonely Geek request. I totally missed out on the Heart Bar the one year that I was there last time. Once they decide where all the geeks are hanging after hours, can somebody send me a note and let me know where the hell it is, so I'm not just wandering bar to bar again?
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be pretty obvious, you know, where it ends up being. I don't think it will be as central as what the Heart Bar was to Planet Hollywood. That was just so central between where the event was being held, where the casino was, and on your way to the Miracle Mile kind of a thing. It was like you just seemed to always be passing by that particular bar, right? But I would imagine that there will be a central place somewhere kind of nearby.
I believe that the Link has a similarly central bar called the Catalyst or something like that.
No, I don't think the Catalyst is. I think it's 3535. That is their main bar. It looks a little classy. Part of me thinks that's probably not where the central bar, like what I'll call the central nighttime party bar, will be. If I had to guess, it might be, which is only steps away from 3535 within the place. What the hell is it called? O'Shea's Pub. It's casual live music. They do have some gambling tables in there, beer pong. Various things that I think kind of play into a bunch of people standing around talking and shooting the shit.
Yeah, as long as there is one at the Link, that's my strongest hope.
I mean, the whole promenade there, because back in 2014, 2015, I can't even remember now. 2014, we actually did the pub crawl there in that area, the promenade area, and we went on the high roller at that time as well. But we went bar to bar during the pub crawl. One of the places that were part of that pub crawl was O'Shea's Pub. There are other smaller bars out there. There are also some other larger bars out there as well. They're a little further away from the Link Hotel, but still down that promenade, sort of, it's like a little street off a street, right?
Right. I mean, in worst case scenario, you've got Caesars and the Flamingo both, right next door within very easy walking distance. We've got an array of options.
I mean, to answer your previous question there, Mike, eVegas is definitely 50% the people. I just want to meet and catch up with all the people that I play with in game, or I've known through the podcasting community, or that I just know from Vegas. Like, I love hanging out with these people. I like having a good time. 25% is definitely the presentations. I want to get in on the ground floor to this new stuff. I want to provide some feedback to the developers for content. I don't have a ton of streams available to me, other than eVegas and a couple of devs that I know personally. So that's a good thing I enjoy about the events. And then the last 25% is kind of soliciting the show out to people and improving the footprint, whether it's through meeting people potentially as guests or telling people about the show. And that's kind of what I'm going to Vegas for.
Which sounds like a really good set of priorities and a great list.
I mean, you're going to have a good time. That's all there is to it.
I got us some sick fucking shirts too, but
And for newer people that are going, especially those ones that are I want to say just coming in on their own. Maybe they're not coming in, knowing somebody else from their corp or their alliance who's coming, or they're not even in those sorts of kind of organizations in game, but are still coming to eVegas. Go check out these things. Look at the schedule and see what interests you to go and check out, and wander around the event area where they're showing Valkyrie and Spark and selling T-shirts and all that kind of stuff, and talk to people. Because I will say this, eVegas is very much like Eve. It kind of plays better when you actually get to know some other people.
Exactly. On that note, actually, let me plug one specific thing. If you're not on Tweetfleet Slack, look up Tweetfleet Slack and then get on Tweetfleet Slack and join the Eve Vegas channel on there, because it turns into an angry hive of activity every October where people are screaming, "I'm here, come here," etc., etc.
Of course, they forget to say where here is, which is just like saying, I'm being hit. Can someone give me reps?
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to extract a bunch of information from drunk nerds, but you will be in a centralized location in a channel full of drunk nerds who are trying to communicate with other drunk nerds about where they are. That goes double if you don't already have a group that you're going with. You will find people very easily that way.
I'm going to have to empty out my phone and reinstall Slack again.
I will absolutely bet that the central bar location will be established by Thursday night.
Oh, absolutely.
Something tells me that it will be established by Wednesday night, and then just carry on into Thursday, and then go from there.
All I ask is a good bar that isn't picky about what I'm wearing and food somewhere nearby.
I'll be honest, after the price gouging at the Art Bar last year, I think I'm going to purchase my alcohol from the Walgreens on Miracle Mile instead.
That's what I did last year. I just kept bringing in bottles in my cargo shorts. It was amazing.
Okay, dude.
There's a Walgreens closer than the Miracle Mile in the opposite direction.
That works too. Either way, the issue last year was we're just going a bit of an angry rant for a second here. $17 for a gin and tonic at the Heart Bar. Don't get me wrong, the Heart Bar is a great hangout, but $17 for a gin and tonic at the Heart Bar versus being able to go into the Walgreens next to Planet Hollywood and pick up a 40 of Guinness Extra Stout for $1.99. I know which one I'm choosing.
Right. What I will say is this: is like I literally had security on me in the Heart Bar at one point for having a Gatorade in my hand. One of the waitresses came over and said, "You can't have drinks from outside in here." Now, the year prior, I literally had a bottle of Tito's that I was guzzling out of, but. At night in the Heart Bar, it was relatively dark. You could be sneaking, certain things, and it was crowded as hell.
It was also much more relaxed. Later.
Yeah, depending on where where things are. Here, who knows? They may be a little more touchy about that. You're right, though. I mean, look, things can be a little bit pricey. These are these are Las Vegas bars. And if you're not gambling, you're paying real money.
Right. I'm not saying don't drink at the bar, just saying bear that in mind. You are probably, if you order any mixed drink of any kind at a bar in a Vegas casino, regardless of where it's at, you're probably going to be shocked when you get your tab.
Prime the pump.
Exercise caution. If you want to drink a lot, like if you are one of those dudes who wants to get absolutely wasted with your friends, you'll rack up $100 plus tab trying to do it at the bar. So maybe get wasted with your friends elsewhere and then come to the bar. Is my financial advice for you for the evening.
Flasks work nicely.
Scout the bar you're in, learn what beers they're serving, and then just buy a case of that when you know you're going to head down there. Just bring one with you.
Bless.
It only takes one beer to get me drunk. Usually it's the 15th.
Bear in mind, by the way, before I forget, the Walgreens that we were discussing, they're not like your average Walgreens. They sell a lot of beer and a lot of liquor, refrigerated and non-refrigerated, and they're open 24 hours. So
there was a Walgreens in the Miracle Mile?
Yeah, maybe it wasn't Miracle. I believe
it was
outside.
Across the street from the Miracle Mile.
Okay. In the Miracle Mile, there was an ABC store, and they sold some beer and a bunch of different liquors and stuff like that. In the Link, there's I think it's called the Link liquor store or something like that.
Attached to the hotel though, which means the prices are probably going to be a little bit surprising there. What I will say is that the Walgreens, I think it's right next to the Planet Hollywood. It's on strip level, so if you walk down towards the Planet Hollywood, you won't be able to miss it. The prices there are spectacularly good for alcohol. And they've got 11 checkout counters, I believe, so you're not going to wait long.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah, because what I always tend to do is on my way in, I stop some. Usually, I get beer. Actually, I got beer and fucking vodka Tito's last year at a liquor store on the way in, on the drive in. Your cabbie or whatever's, unless you're taking a bus or something like that, hell, they don't care. They'll stop by. They'll stop by a liquor store. Get some beer, have it up in the room. Chill it on ice. A lot of these places, though, they'll actually rent you a mini fridge for like $25 a day or something. But do that, and you can always pre-drink or whatever.
Right, you are not going to be hurting for a way to get access to alcohol.
I mean, what I
And
will
as a side thing, just for those of you wondering why we're talking about lots of liquids, the highs on Friday are 32, the lows 16. Saturday, highs of 33, lows 17, and
Oh,
Sunday,
in
highs of
English.
34.
who understands your terrible numbers?
English, man.
I got it.
Okay, to anyone who actually even remotely thinks
To
that's
American
Fahrenheit, this is the
speed.
desert.
89, 91, and 93, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
No.
Oh, that's
Go back
cold.
to metric for a sec. What was it again?
Hot, hot, and hot.
That's not hot. That's not hot.
In
That's cold. I live in Texas.
Celsius, it was 32, 33, 34.
Okay.
It's gonna be warmer this year than last. Last year we were later into October.
Yeah, last year was pretty mild, actually.
Now the other thing I will say is this. Look, on what was it? Let's see. Well, it depends on who you're with, but on Friday night, obviously, if you're going to the pub crawl, you are already going to be priming the pump through the pub crawl, and then whatever bar you might show up at afterwards is going to be basically just maintenance mode, anyways. Saturday night is the party that everybody goes to, and that's going to be open bar for 3 hours. So you're already going to be priming the pump there pretty damn well with an open bar, and then everything after that is kind of maintenance. So it really becomes where it's like Thursday night. You're paying more out of pocket. Or if you're not going to that pub crawl, or on Friday night, if you're not going to the Imperium's, pub crawl thing down on Fremont Street, or you're not with some other organization out there that's got some sort of thing like that lined up.
Which there are a number out there in mind. A number of alliances do that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. But I think it's like, I think they had like 220 tickets or something like that for this year's pub crawl. All sold out.
Always does, I think.
Yeah, usually it always does.
Yeah, there was a wait list established. I haven't heard anybody getting on from that wait list.
I'm on the wait list.
Yeah, I'm on it too.
I didn't even know that there was a thingy. God damn it.
It's all good. There will be just enough parties on Friday night, though the pub crawl will probably be overshadowed by some of them.
Yeah, we're thinking of hosting something out of our suite in the Flamingo Friday night, honestly. It's kind of like a group of 5 of us from my alliance decided to collectively bargain with the Flamingo, and we wound up with their Metropolitan suite, which is apparently quite sizable. Actually didn't realize how large the suite we were getting was, so probably going to use that to host some events. Hope to see some of you nerds there.
Well, just, poke me or whatever.
Lawn party too.
This is why I say get on Sweet Fleet Slack, get in the Vegas channel. I'll probably be drunkenly screaming at sometime around 2 a.m. Friday night, "Yo, nerds, party at my place."
I'll take this as my invite now, and I'll catch it your room number when we're on the floor.
I don't actually know what the room number is yet, but you can bet your ass at some point, once I have the room number, I'm going to be angrily broadcasting it on Slack.
Merida, you just let me know, bud.
I gotcha. Saturday night after the party at Vegas, we'll see if it's different than previous years at the Chateau, where they kind of just shuffled us out the door or turned on bottle service and kicked us all off the tables. But Big Sean is playing the Vegas party after the Vegas party.
You will absolutely be kicked out of tables, table service and whatnot, following our party, where it's just a private party thing, right? Because now they've opened it to the public. They've got people who have reserved tables and all that kind of stuff. So you will, in all likelihood, be kicked out of any table that you might have taken over for our party. You will be allowed to stay for the Big Sean show and all that kind of stuff, provided you are dressed appropriately, which is always a difficult thing. Now, that being said, there's a lot of people like, "Oh man, we got kicked out. I gotta be honest, I've never been kicked out of Chateau, although I know that they do begin to corral the herd towards the door and stuff like that. But if you're dressed appropriately, if you're dressed like you're supposed to be at a Las Vegas nightclub, you're not gonna get kicked out that easily or anything like that.
You will get shuffled out many times faster if you're in jeans and a t-shirt. The short version of that. That
being said, again, after 3 hours at after 3 hours of open bar there, right? Let me tell you something. When you go from guzzling down as many drinks as you can during an open bar to $14 for a Heineken, you all of a sudden sit there and go, really? Did I want to hang out here? Okay, well I do, but I just don't really want to be shuffling off $14 for a Heineken right now.
I mean, if you're not plastered enough,
Exactly.
for 3 hours of open bar, I think you were doing something wrong. Like,
Yes.
last year was actually my first Eve Vegas, where I was 21 and thus able to actually attend the nightclub party. And a couple friends of mine from Test Alliance, who were aware that this is my first Eve Vegas of the legal drinking age, shuffled me up to the open bar and presented me with solo cups full of straight gin. It was a fascinating evening. Don't do that.
0 to shit faced in one night.
Yeah, it was actually a case of, yo, Kyle, I hear you're finally of legal drinking age. Congratulations. Let me grab you something from the open bar. Comes back 5 minutes later with, a typical open bar sized solo cup with a clear liquid in it. Okay, thanks. What's this? Straight gin. Start drinking.
This
Okay.
this nightclub this year is definitely larger than the Chateau. I mean, we maxed the Chateau out. We overmaxed it last year
This
in
one's
terms of the
Dre's,
number of
isn't it?
people. Yeah, this is Dre's Beach Club. Now, apparently the main part of the party will be happening in the indoor section of Dre's, but there's also the Beach Club section, which is out by the pools, which is kind of right off there, that you will be able to go out to. But I think all of the festivities like Permaband and the DJ and all that will be in the inside section.
Oh, we do have access to the beach club part.
As far as I know, we do, yeah.
Awesome. That's great. I wasn't aware of that.
Now, whether or not there is a bar that is functional out there, or waitress service or anything like that, I don't know. But as far as I know, you will be able to go out there and sit down and chit chat or whatever.
As long as it is larger than the Chateau, because we dangerously overpacked the Chateau last year. If we're being
We did, and that's why we moved.
Dre's is in the Cromwell, not in the Link.
Correct. Yeah, it's about I think about an 8-minute walk back towards Planet Hollywood.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not far. The Cromwell is what, 1 up from the Paris? I recall.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think it's about an equal amount of walk as it was from the Planet Hollywood to Paris.
I believe you're right. Yeah, the only thing is getting across that 4-way intersection, which I'm pretty sure there are sky bridges over, but can't quite remember.
Yeah, but Dre's is on this side of that intersection.
Oh, it is.
It's on the Link side of the intersection. So it goes Link, Flamingo, and then I can't see
Cromwell.
another one. The Cromwell, yeah.
Yes, you're right. Good. For some reason, I was possessed of the mind that the Cromwell was the one directly up from the Paris, but apparently that one is Bali's. I never heard of that one, actually.
Yeah, my map's not perfect. I'm just cruising it right now.
Yeah, I'm looking at it on topographical. I've been drinking a little too much. Topographical map, Google Maps. It actually looks massive, several times the size of the Chateau.
Regardless, I'm looking forward to it.
It's gonna be wonderful.
Yeah, it's big. I mean, they're making 1,200. They're making 1,200 swag bags. So that would lead me to believe that we're either at 1,000 or 1,100 actual main event tickets sold, with another 100 party only tickets, or maybe it's 1,000 plus 200. I forget what their limits were. What their cutoffs were this year. That's a lot of damn people.
It is. I believe we hit something around the 960 mark last year, so this is an even bigger upgrade than last year.
Not too shabby.
But yeah, there are some, if you can pull yourself together, some talks on Sunday. Which day is your talk, Mike?
I'm the first player speaker on Saturday. So I think 10:30 Saturday morning.
Lucky you. You're
Yeah.
before everyone's ruthlessly hungover then.
Yeah, well, that's okay. I'm still finishing up the writing. My outline and all that was supposed to be sent in today, but I had a few questions to ask of technical stuff. So I asked them that, and so I'm sending it in late tonight or tomorrow morning. Of course, I'm talking on something that's impossible.
Les, what are you talking on?
Game balance.
Winning Eve.
Oh, you can't truly win Eve. That's impossible. We all know that.
See?
Even if you quit Eve, you'll still come back for Eve Vegas. That's just the nature of how these things work.
As far as I'm concerned, quitting Eve is the way you lose.
No, I think it's the other way around.
I tried quitting Eve once or twice. I just never quite worked out. I couldn't do it.
You can check out any time you want.
Oh, it should also point out just from Friday, registration starts at 11 a.m. in the morning. If you went to eVegas last year, then or in previous years, registration took place on the mezzanine level before you walked back into the back to where the event actually took place. Right. This year, registration is apparently not going to be that close to where the actual event is going to take place. I believe it's going to be on the 5th floor, up in a different room.
That's what Greg L posted. The thing is, as far as I'm concerned, registration was an event in and of itself. I mean, the lineup was hilarious.
Especially the point where guards started riding around on somebody's shoulders, screaming, "Who's ready to party?"
Yeah, I mean, we're usually pouring drinks, and it's like it's usually a little rough, but.
Speaking of silliness, what is the podcast schedule going to be like for the week?
Yeah, we got anything expecting on Thursday?
Well, okay, yeah. The plan is that Open Comms will broadcast live on Thursday night at 6 p.m. local time out there, which is the normal 9 p.m. Eastern, 0100 UTC. Will be live streaming, assuming all goes to plan and we have capable internet connection and all of that. So that's something I've got to really get down and work on Thursday.
Is there a podcast location?
I don't have that yet, and mainly it's because since this place is so new to even CCP, nobody has a good idea where kind of anything is. So
or how good connections are going to be.
Did you say you want to do this Thursday or Friday night? I apologize.
No, this is going to be Thursday night, 6 p.m. 6 p.m. out there. So it'll run 6 to 8. We'll be doing the live show and pouring shots of Tito's and all that kind of shit. But the word will go out through the general channels that where it's going to be and all that kind of stuff once we figure that out. So probably look on Thursday for where that will be.
I was going to offer to loan you the suite to do it, but we won't be arriving until probably close to 11 p.m. Thursday night, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, no, I mean we try and do it in the event area, as close as we can to it. The first year we did it was 2 years ago, and we were actually in the event area. However, sometimes CCP has a problem with that because they're setting stuff up and there's equipment around, and they don't want randos around while they've got loose equipment hanging out or getting in the way or whatever.
Yeah,
so we did it on the mezzanine level last year. I'm working with Falcon. We'll figure it out. It will happen. It will happen.
It was a great time last year. I definitely distributed a whole bottle of Tito's to anyone who was standing near me.
Yeah, I mean, last year we probably had 50 people at there. At one point. So it's kind of like definitely bring a beverage with you, but we will be pouring shots.
You don't have to bring enough for the whole class, but it's nice.
Wish I were getting in early enough to join you guys for that.
So there's potentially the Thursday night primer. I think I've got 100 shot glasses or something like that. Little plastic disposable ones. Apparently, we're also going to be giving away Open Comms actual glass shot glasses as well. So we'll have that. But and then of course from there we'll crawl to whatever comes next.
And then there is a breakfast for Talking Stations as well.
At 8:30 a.m. Friday morning, after Dirk does the Open Comms show the night before.
8:30, what time zone?
8:30 a.m. out there.
Believe that when I see it.
Talking Stations is going to just, at this point, we can't get a reservation, but however many people show up by 8:30 a.m., they will seat us together. We're going to be at Hash House a Go-Go, which is right there,
Link pavilion type thing. Yeah,
exactly.
Friday, you said? You said that's 30 a.m. Friday.
8:30 a.m. Friday morning. Yep.
Awesome.
So we're gonna meet up there for breakfast and just kind of it's just gonna be a shoot the shit.
Yep, sweet. And then Kyle, party Saturday night.
I have no idea exactly when I'm going to do things. All I know for right now is that we arrive Thursday night. We're getting in pretty late Thursday, so I don't know what we'll be able to do then. We were trying to host a wormholers party as soon as possible, but we've got the suite Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. So at the very least, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, there will be things happening. Like I said, get on Slack. I'll be angrily pinging stuff out on there.
For those of you who don't know, this coming weekend actually is Canadian Thanksgiving.
You guys have a Thanksgiving?
Yeah, it's at
They
the
do?
proper month too.
Wasn't even aware of that.
It's kind of why I mentioned it. So I'm flying out Sunday just so I can be back and do Thanksgiving dinner Monday.
Me too.
Really? I'm hopping in a car and I'm driving to LA so we can do that Universal Studios and Disneyland. That's the price I have to pay, by the way, to go to eVegas with my girlfriend this year. The price is I got a driver, go to Universal Studios, see their Halloween shit, go to Disneyland, do their fucking Disneyland shit. Rough price to pay, right?
I think it's a deal.
You think that's pricey? You should try Disneyland Paris. That's fun.
Fuck. All my French has escaped me. No.
I know zero French, and I've been there 2 times.
Buongiorno.
We're bilingual country, I swear. Sunday, there's also the charity screening of Blade Runner 2049. This is being put on for the Able Gamers charity. I think there might be tickets still available.
I think last I saw there were still tickets available for that. I mean, one of the things that they did with this was that they didn't announce this until probably a lot of people had already booked flights and that sort of thing. And some people do actually leave on on Sunday, to go home. So there's a more limited crew of people around, to do that. I think it's at 7:30 p.m. Sunday night out there. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I did not get a ticket to it, mainly because I know what I'm like on Sunday nights, and if I'm sitting in a dark movie theater on Sunday night, I will just sleep.
I'm sure they'll wake you when the movie's over.
I'm sure they will. I wander around like a freaking zombie Sunday afternoon. It's like
sort of the day to nurse the hangover quietly and recover a little bit before.
Saturday
You
night's
can't be
hard,
a
man.
zombie. You're in PL.
Saturday night's freaking hard, man.
It is. Especially when you're 21 years old and being forced to chug straight gin. That's a good way to be exhausted on Sunday.
I think I went to bed at like 5 a.m. Sunday morning, and Drayden and somebody else like went over to the Cosmopolitan. I'm like, what? I'm like, you guys went where? I'm like, oh my god.
I think on Thursday night there's also a Imperium party at the Opera House.
Yeah, the Imperium is having its dinner Thursday night at Hofbräu House. It's like an Oktoberfest joint. So if you're part of the Imperium, you should. Well, number one, you should probably already know about that. And and I don't know if it's. I think it is. I think it is Imperium. I know Bastion also has their own dinner, and I'm not sure what night they're having that.
I'm sure if you know people within those groups and you want to attend, I don't think they're gonna shut you out.
Probably won't know. Let you
No, and if and also if you're not on the pub crawl, if you're not on the official CCP pub crawl, right? Like I said, Imperium goes down to Fremont Street. You might be able to hook up with some bros if you know them there and do that. But again, there's also bars right there in the promenade. I mean, you do not need to go very far to find some alcohol.
No, you don't.
And it's always fun trying to spot Eve geeks in the wild.
I mean, it's not too difficult. I mean, last year, the Heart Bar, we had at least 4 different flags with Alliance logos on them being marched around. not difficult to see where people were meeting up.
I wouldn't be surprised if I saw stuffies around from all the logo mascots.
What, like a dinosaur?
CO2 head.
Well, and even, and again, because, whatever the central bar is will be established. So even while these things are going on, people will still be at those bars. Because again, the real pub, the real pub crawl is like only 220 tickets total. So that leaves a lot of people still kind of around, looking for other people still around. And then that gets done. That gets done at 11 o'clock, and then wanders back to wherever everybody else is.
And I mean, I don't know if you guys have any good piece of advice, but if you are new to Eve Vegas or new to Eve Meets in general, the biggest thing that I always have problems with is getting over that hump of actually introducing yourself to someone. We're all there to meet new people for the most part. The devs, the players, the Eve famous people. We all just want to meet new people and have a good time at this event. So if you feel like you're holding back from meeting a dev or like, oh, CCP Falcon, I'm so nice to meet you. Just walk up, introduce yourself, and join in the conversation.
Everyone is happy to be there. There really shouldn't be a barrier to walking up and introducing yourself. Everyone is just happy to see new faces.
Can I tell my stupid story about that?
I think you should.
First time I went to Vegas, Proto was having his birthday on the Thursday before Vegas, invited a bunch of people to it. And I'd met none of these people. And he said, it's at Hooters, you'll find me. Well, Hooters is a freaking huge bar. So I go to the waitress at the front door and say, I'm supposed to be at a birthday party. And she says, oh, really? What's his name? And I'm going, crap, I don't know the birthday boy's name. I said, it's probably a group of around 12 plus people. And no, I don't know the name. She says, well, there's a bunch back there. I'll take you there. I go in and there's a whole long table with people drinking shots. And they all look as the waitress brings myself and my wife in. And they all just look at me silently. I look along the table and say, I'm not sure if I'm in the right place. And as soon as I said, I'm not, 5 people yell Mike and they rush me because they all recognize my voice, not my face, just my voice. And as soon as they start saying things, I'm going, oh, God, you're Kira. Oh, you're Proto. Okay, great. And meeting all these people, none of whom I knew, but all of whom I knew by ear.
That's actually pretty amazing.
So you guys being podcasters, I mean, hell, Dirk does not look like his avatar any more than I look like my avatar. And I'm fairly sure that Morgan does not look like Morgan's avatar.
Oh, I look 100% like mine.
Well, then congratulations on the change. And I hope you and Caitlyn Jenner get along quite nicely.
What?
God bless.
We actually got into a joke about that because one of the things that Grey Gal is putting together is this thing where like you can get like a little pin with your avatar, on it, and you donate like somewhere between $2 and $5, and it's going to benefit the Able Gamers charity. The Eve volunteers are putting this together, and I'm like, I don't know, I don't know if I want a button with my avatar on it. And McLean's like, oh, freaking Dirk, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, it's like, I don't think anybody knows me from my freaking avatar. Anybody who does know me probably knows me because they've literally seen the face that they'll see live.
Yeah,
or they've heard the voice.
My avatar in Rookie Help Chat, you wouldn't believe how much grief I get for that face. I'm told I look like a serial killer, a child molester, and about once a month I get someone demanding I change my avatar. And every time I say, nope, my daughter did the avatar, designed the character, and it stays as is. If you get scared of it, good.
Although I did order one of the avatar buttons. So.
As did I.
Any other tips for any Eve Vegas newbies?
Look for the shirts. Find out what the shirts look like. You'll see lots of people. Usually if you see a large group of people wearing black shirts, you're fairly sure you found
exactly.
Eve people. Keep your ears open. Just come in and say who you fly with. And that's the easiest way to, if they start naming corpse and you're in the right place. If they look at you and go, what? You just go, sorry, wrong, and move on. Be willing to talk to everybody and anybody. Talk in lines. Talk to people in the conference when you're waiting for the next person to present or the presenter is really boring. Talk. like, I don't care if you are shy. This is not the place to be shy. If you're an introvert, that is fine. Listen, but drift close enough that you get involved in the conversations. Doing this, going to Eve Vegas solo is like playing Eve solo. You're not getting out of it what you can, unless you're really good at talking to people. Going solo, like I am solo. I don't have a corp. I don't have an alliance. All I have is the people I talk to. So for me, that's why I ask, where are the parties? Because I don't have a bloody clue, but I'll find them one way or t'other.
Any other tips? Always have two drinks.
Sorry, I tend to rant.
Always have 2 drinks in.
Oh, hell yeah. At the open bar party, you get at least 2, and if you can carry 3, get that, because the lineup gets nasty and you wind up spending half the time in the lineup.
Yep. Just grab as much as you can carry at the start, honestly.
Drinking the autism fades nemesis. He's like, well, and I just want to reiterate what Mike says is like, look, number one, if you made the choice to come to Eve Vegas, kind of rolling solo, right? Good on you for doing that. Next step, do what you want. I mean, like, if you want to roll solo, that's up to you, because it's a sandbox and all that shit. But yeah, definitely, kind of, I'm not saying wedge yourself into a conversation and look like a total freaking spurge, but
Hey,
go
gotta
meet other people.
I mean, there's no way you're not going to get the experience otherwise. That's why I keep hammering this point. Get on Tweet Fleet Slack and get in the Eve Vegas channel. Start angrily yelling at people to find out where the fun is at. You will find it.
You have to be angry.
You have to be enraged. You have to furiously scream, "Where
are you all at?"
But no, you'll find the parties. Like, people will be angry. I don't know why I keep using the word angrily. I've had a couple too many beers. People will be telling the group where they are, what they've found, making recommendations, saying there's a whole bunch of us hanging out at this bar. Get on there, go with the flow.
Caps lock cruise control for cool.
God, I dread the evening that channel turns into caps lock spam of get in, get in, get in, get in. It's going to happen.
Nice. All right, that's a pretty good overview of what we're looking forward to for. Next week on the show, we'll definitely be covering all the things that are discussed there. Probably a couple new announcements. Hopefully, maybe a new Permaband song.
Please hope. Pray for Permaband.
That's what I'm looking forward to. Good one. A good one. Wrecking Machine. No, last year's was all right, but
Warp the Dance Floor. What was the other one?
last year was like
You had Warp to the Dance Floor.
I think that was the only one, actually.
no,
No, I thought there was a slow one, wasn't there?
Oh, the ones played. Permaband actually played, or the ones that they introduced for the first time.
No, and it may have been FanFest, but then they also brought it to Vegas or whatever.
There was that 80s anthem type thing.
Was that Fly With Me or something? Or
Fly with me. Come fly with me.
yeah, something like that. Yeah, I hope they do a little something more than than that. Yeah, you definitely like the harder stuff. Yeah.
As I recall, basically what happens is Guard gets really hammered and starts writing down lyrics, so it really just depends on the whims of drunk Guard.
Like, how many of you remember the song Keep On Clicking?
Yeah, it's a
Nope.
good one.
That one, actually.
Look it up.
Well, you can go look it up. It's one of the Permaband songs, too.
I will most certainly have a look. I remember last year we did the nightclub party. I think we got through Warp to the Dance Floor, Wrecking Machine, Killing is the Name of Communication, or Means of Communication. Can't remember the rest, though.
Harden the fuck up.
Oh, right. I was in the line at the open bar for most of that song, unfortunately.
But yeah, let's go through some shoutouts and some last second hypes here, and then we'll pack it in for the night. Start at the bottom, maybe, Tridget?
Shout out to all of the people that are coming to eVegas. I hope to see you there, and I hope I can meet as many of you as I can.
Nice. Mike?
Shout out to the donors to Operation Magic School Bus and to all the folks I hope to meet. And somebody let me know where things are so I can come wandering over and be irritating in the corner. But everybody going, and if you're not going, hell, watch it on Twitch, watch it on YouTube.
Oh, we lost Kyle preemptively. Dirk?
Oh, I don't really have any shout outs. Yeah. See you in Vegas, or you'll hear about it later.
Kyle needs to drag.
There's Kyle. Kyle, your shout out?
My sincerest of apologies. Right as the shoutouts began,
Oh, what happened again?
I'm not taking responsibility for this.
God
when
damn it,
Kyle comes
Mike.
back on, I'll be gone.
God damn it. Kale?
No, don't necessarily have any shout-outs besides happy birthday to my beautiful wife. She was lovely enough to allow me to sit and listen to you guys, but not the
Ah,
same
can you hear
choice.
me?
She fell asleep, so who cares?
Can you nerds hear me?
Yes.
No, can't hear you
Yes.
whatsoever.
I'm so sorry. Right as the shoutouts began, my entire computer blue screened. I'm now on my cell phone.
Wow.
Damn.
My apologies. I'm sorry for holding that up.
It's all good.
But yeah, that's all I got. Happy birthday to Mrs. Decadence. She's asleep, so that's why I'm here.
Sweet. Kyle, shout out Volume 3.
Shout out to my computer for crashing on me. Shout out to all the Rejection of Sovereignty nerds that I'm going to be rooming with in a couple of days. I'd love to think of some more, but I have to figure out why my computer is broken now. That's fun.
Yeah, shout out to our new subscriber, Nama. If you are not a subscriber of the show and you'd wish to support the show, it's not September anymore. You're gonna have to pay full price, or you can match your Twitch Prime to subscribe to the Twitch channel and support us that way. Otherwise, you can do it through Patreon, or you can just come give me a beer at Vegas. I'll drink it for Kale. Don't worry.
You don't think I'm gonna have plenty of beer in my home brewing household?
You will, but
That's free, mostly.
if somebody gives me a beer, it's free.
You're right.
I'll also be having a collectible business cards of my social media and the Mind Clash. Come talk to me. I'll have too many to give away to all the people I meet. So come meet me. If you're there in Vegas, I will be slumming around. I have so many Eve t-shirts. I'll be in one of them. Most of them are Open Common shirts. Amazing shirts.
Oddly enough.
Thank you everyone for watching. We will see you next week with a recap of how sore my liver is. Probably mostly sore. We might even have to delay it till Tuesday. We'll see.
Oh yeah, it's actually a holiday on next Monday, so
Yeah, we'll see.
we'll see.
All right, thank you all for watching, and we'll catch you next week.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for having me.
Hype.